I'm not going to vote for that. I cannot, in good conscience, hold my nose and vote for that bill, knowing this still will continue the disastrous policies of the Biden administration. Now, if we're going to allow funding for liberal priorities to continue even temporarily, we need to make sure that we are advancing conservative priorities at the same time. Neither of those are taking place. Hey everybody, I hope as always that you're having a great weekend. I'm here with an update on what happened in Washington, D.C. this week. I can sum up the week as you can try holding your nose, but it won't fix the problems. From President Biden's weakness on the global stage to kicking the can down the road again on funding the government, I have a lot to discuss, so let's get into all of it. After I sent a bipartisan letter calling on the Biden administration to redesignate the Houthis as a terrorist group, the Biden officials finally admitted it, but in a half-measured way, like they always do. Watered down. For those who don't know, the Houthis are the Iranian-backed terrorist group in Yemen who are responsible for drone attacks on U.S. vessels, ships, things like that, including American cargo ships and warships for the past few months. By all definitions, they are a terrorist organization. They are criminals trying to sabotage, cause injury, hold civilian hostage. This is why President Trump designated the Houthis as a terrorist group when he was president. What did Joe Biden do when he came into office? Within the first month of his term in office, Joe Biden took the Houthis off of the terrorist list. Now, his reasoning is one of the most important parts about this. His reasoning was that not enough aid meaning your money, your tax dollars, was going to Yemen because of them being designated on this foreign terrorist organization list. Now, since President Biden took the Houthis off of this terrorist organizational list, $3+ billion of your money has now flowed to Yemen. He took them off of the terrorist list that President Trump put them on, gave them $3 billion of your money so that they could do what? Conduct terrorism against the United States of America. The Houthi terrorists have been attacking Americans passing through the Red Sea for months since Hamas attacked Israel on the American taxpayer dollar. President Biden held his nose to the Houthis until he got slapped in the face by this ragtag terrorist group. That is why the Biden administration is now rushing to redesignate the Houthis as a terrorist group, but with a twist. Instead of adding them to the foreign terrorist organization list, or as we call it, FTO, which would maximize the penalties on individuals who belong to or collaborate with the Houthis, the Biden administration is adding them to a watered-down list known as the Specially Designated Global Terrorist List. Yes, it's still a bad list, but it's watered down from what President Trump put them on. Biden is responsible for all of it. Under Trump, we had the Abraham Accords in the Middle East. Under Biden, we have the Middle East on fire. I will continue to call out the Biden administration for its moronic decisions that are putting our interests, our allies, citizens of the United States of America all at risk. I want to switch gears. On the House floor this week, we passed two bills that uphold the sanctity of life. Now, as a soldier who fought on the battlefields to protect the innocent, there's no doubt in my mind that every heartbeat of a baby is worth defending. Brianna and I are thankful to God every single day for the 4 miracles in our lives: Magnum, Maverick, Madeline, and Major. Each of them an absolute blessing to us. They all have birthdays, by the way, coming up through the spring. But the far-left activists who have called for abortions at every stage, even up to the last moment before birth, are shaming pregnant women and influence the Biden administration to make it difficult for pregnant women to choose life. They don't even want pregnant women to choose life. In fact, a new proposed rule from the Biden administration would restrict funding for pregnancy centers that serve new mothers. That doesn't make any sense. By doing that, they reject the innocent unborn babies from the God-given, unalienable rights that is life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I cannot explain the unexplainable of the American left. Americans understand each life is sacred and should be protected. This is what House Republicans continue to fight for. That's why the House passed a Supporting Pregnant and Parenting Women and Families Act, which would block the Biden administration from restricting funds for pregnancy centers. The House also passed the Pregnant Students' Rights Act, which would require schools to inform all pregnant college students of their rights and protections to carry a pregnancy to full term, like modified class schedules, excused absences, other things that the schools need to do for an expectant mother. Life should be celebrated in an America that I grew up in. This is a beautiful, amazing place where when we wake up under these 50 stars and 13 red and white stripes, we get the opportunity to make every day the best possible day. That is our America. I will continue to support women who are fighting to protect life every step of the way. Finally, I want to talk about government funding. Now, as you may recall, last November, Congress extended the government funding deadline to January 19, which was yesterday, and February 2 for another part of the appropriations bills or government funding. This extension, also known as a continuing resolution or a CR, was supposed to give Congress more time to work through the 12 individual appropriations bills, but Congress missed its deadline once again. This new extension plan continues the laddered approach. The funding for some government agencies, the Department of Veterans Affairs, the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Transportation, Housing and Urban Development, the Department of Defense, this will expire on March 1st. The rest will expire on March 8th. Now, just like I did with other previous votes for continuing resolutions or a CR, I voted no, and here's the why on that. When Republicans took over the House last year, we inherited a funding plan that pushed Nancy Pelosi's liberal agenda. Our nation, as a result, is facing multiple crises, whether it's the southern border, skyrocketing crime rates. We cannot let the things that are going on with this administration and the things that they funded or chose not to fund, like the border, not to work on like the border, we can't let those things continue. Now, with House under Republican control, we have a unique opportunity to negotiate with President Biden, make progress on conservative, common sense, America first policy goals. The spending bills are the best example to do just that, but this laddered approach just continued the spending levels that were enacted under Nancy Pelosi with nothing in exchange. I'm not going to vote for that. I cannot, in good conscience, hold my nose and vote for that bill, knowing this still will continue the disastrous policies of the Biden administration. In fact, last September, I voted for a different continuing resolution that actually made some cuts to certain programs and most importantly included H.R. 2, the Republicans' plan to secure the border. Now, if we're going to allow funding for liberal priorities to continue even temporarily, we need to make sure that we are advancing conservative priorities at the same time. Neither of those are taking place. Ultimately, the legislation did pass, and Congress once again has an extension to work on the individual spending bills. I'm always going to work to make sure every dollar of we the people's money is used responsibly, not used at all if it continues to fund Nancy Pelosi's progressive, moronic agenda. In that, it is an honor to serve you. I hope that you're having a great weekend. I look forward to seeing you all around. You all take care. Hey everyone, thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed the video, please click like and subscribe. I will be back on YouTube with more exclusive content, so stay tuned.